Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's AccuLeads webinar. Here at AccuData, we've termed 2019 as the year of AccuLeads, so you'll be seeing a lot of enhancements and promotions surrounding the AccuLeads platform and the products within it throughout the year that will help you with your marketing list creation. My name is Raquel Stark, and I'm the product owner for AccuLeads, and today I'll be reviewing some of the enhancements that we've made to the platform to better assist you with using the tool. Now, before we get started, I'd like to review just a few important items with you. Questions can be submitted throughout today's webinar, and we'll address some throughout, but we'll also save some time at the end to go through any other questions that you may have. So use the chat feature within the GoToWebinar and submit any questions that you have. And if there are questions that we don't get a chance to cover, just email them to info@accudata.com, or you can always call us at 1-800-732-3440. So with that, how about we get started? So the first feature that I want to highlight for everybody today, which I'm really excited about, I think it's going to help so many of our users, is the Power Search feature. So we recently added this feature to really help our users with finding information within the various databases that we have. So there are 17 databases offered on AccuLeads and hundreds of selects that are available. And I know just from an internal user perspective that it can be really overwhelming at times. And then having the hassle of jumping into each file to search them individually to find a specific element that you need really does take some time. So we created the Power Search to allow you to quickly search across all databases for specific demographic information. So for example, let's say you were looking for pool owners. So I'm going to type in pool here so that I can start my search. I'm going to click on my little magnifying glass icon, and our results are going to appear. So here on the results screen, you can look at the information that's actually going to come back for that search. So you can look at the databases. On the left-hand navigation, we're going to show you all the databases that are available, all the consumer databases, the resident occupant, the business, and the targeted data. We'll be showing you next to that how many elements match that search criteria that you actually entered. You can click on any of these for the databases here on the left, and it's only going to show you results for that specific database. But in your main results section, you're going to see every element that we have that has the word pool in the name of the element and the description of the element, or even as one of the element values. So if you expand all, you'll be able to see the actual values that are associated with that. We default it to being collapsed, just because if you're looking at certain lifestyle or interest information, it could be kind of cumbersome on the screen. But once you've identified the demographic that you wish and the database that you want to use, you simply just need to click on the name of that database, and we're going to push you right into that specific file where you can then select the information that you want and continue on with your count process. Now, let's say that you're still working within here and you said, you know what, that's great, that's cool, I can run my count here later, but I really wanted to find out maybe what database has, let's say, a fireplace. I'm sure some of our friends up north will appreciate that. So you can actually still access that within the count process, and then you'll see your results screen here. We can always go, again, back into that database, and we can make that selection. So it is a great tool that we've added. I know that here we're very excited about it. I hope that everybody on the line and all our users really do take advantage of this specific tool that we've added. Now, the next area that I want to review is our favorite demographics section. So if you will notice, I mean, there's obviously, like I said, there's hundreds of demographic selections available within the databases that we have on AccuLeads, specifically on the consumer files, and we know that our customers are using that a lot. We created the favorite demographics section to allow for users to create favorite lists of the demographics that they use most frequently, so that this way they can easily see just those within the count selection process. So let me show you how it works. So we've added this section here under demographics for our favorite demographics. Let me deselect that. Now, to set up a favorite list, you're going to want to make sure that you're within this tab. And you can name your favorite whatever you want. So I'm going to name this favorite test 1. And then you can select whatever demographics maybe you need for a specific project, or these are the demographics that really 80% of the time you use when you're working within that database. And you can just have those be selected here. So let's say I always use child age ranges, potentially I use gender, I use income, these are length of residence. These are going to be the ones that I'm going to make for this specific favorite list. I'm going to hit save. And now your list has been saved. So if you need to edit it, we only have one saved in here, but you can have multiple demographic favorite lists saved here. So if you need to edit it, you can do so here. You just want to make sure that the correct list is appearing in the dropdown. You would click on edit. And oh, you know what, let me add in the individual to your age band. I'll save that as well. And we're going to overwrite the list, and it's been saved. Now to actually use the demographics that we've created for this favorite list, we're going to apply favorites. Now when we do this, you're going to notice on the screen that we only have those demographics for the favorite list. So you can expand all within here and make whatever selections you need to for those values associated with the demographics that you have within that specific favorite list. And what I really like about this is that we have this enabled here at the top within our search dropdown. So let's say, yeah, that's great. You know what? I don't really need to use that. I want to see all the demographics again. You just need to change that there. Change that to show all, and you'll be able to see all demographics. Or you could always click on all demographics here. But all of your favorite lists will automatically be stored within that dropdown on this page, so that you'll constantly have access to that. Now, I see we've got a couple of questions that have come in for this favorite section, so I wanted to actually address them now. So one of the questions that we have is, for the favorites feature, is this just available at the user level or the company level? Well, that's a really good question. So currently the favorites is available at the individual user level, not at the company level. So each user can establish and access their own favorite list. All right, another question that we have that just came in is, for the favorites feature, is this available across all files? Yes, absolutely. This section, favorite demographics, we have it enabled for all of the 17 databases that we have within AccuLeads. So, of course, the demographics are specific for that database, but we do have a favorite section within the left navigation for all the databases that we have within the tool. Okay, so with that, that is the favorites. Now, what I want to do is I'd like to move on to another new feature that we've added, which is order saving. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to go into my history and pull up a count that I've already run. Let's use this one from Compact. Okay, so here's a count that I've already run. And we are really excited about the ability to order save. So when you're in the count process, you have the ability that you can save your count at any time. So we have that feature here in the corner, but we haven't added that throughout the order process. And I know that there are so many times that when you're working on a site because you're in a project, I know from my experience and from the AccuData team here that you get pulled away in so many different directions. Maybe a phone call comes in. Maybe there's a meeting that pops up or another high priority item that kind of takes you away from what you're working on, and then you have to abandon the order process. And it's not really a fun experience if you're working on a large project that maybe has a lot of cutbacks involved, that's pretty detailed, then you end up losing all that work and you have to start from the beginning all over again. So the order saving is now enabled so that we can actually save every step within the process. So I'm going to walk you through this pretty quickly. It's very, very simple. So let's say we're going to order this this small, the small order here, I'm going to restrict it by the report fields, and I'm going to continue through the order process. If you notice, we have the save feature here at the top. That's going to be on every page within the order process. I'm going to cut this back by the zip codes, which I don't think we have many in here. So let's say I want to cut this back a bit for each. I only want to get 100, and the ones that we have records that can meet the 100 quantity. And that's all I need. So now that I did that on this page, let's say I've got a phone call, I need to step away, I can hit save. And it's going to show me right here at the top the date and timestamp which we saved this. And I'm going to move on to something else. I'm going to go click on my orders and actually show you where this lives. So we added this new tab called Saved Orders. So on the Saved Orders tab, this is going to be any order that you have saved. So you started working on, you clicked Save, you have not completed that. But here you can filter for the name, you can filter on the product, you can filter on the date saved. You're also going to be able to see the information for this order, so you still have some of the details that we have here, the count information if you need to jump back into that. And what you'll notice is our status is going to say new order. Now from here, anything that has a green arrow, you can continue working on. So you simply would want to click on the green arrow, and it's going to drop you right back into the order process. We are going to start you at the main screen, but you can go into the next screen and you can see that all of my cutbacks have been saved. And I'm just going to walk through the rest of the order process. And I'm going to complete my order. So now that I've completed my order, that's going to end up on my typical orders tab. On my saved orders tab, it's going to show me that that order was completed. So you're not going to be able to, create from here any longer because it's actually been completed. You'll be able to complete orders within a certain time frame. So for that specific update schedule for that file. So a lot of the consumer files, for example, and the business file and the resident document file, those are updated on a monthly basis. So as long as you are saving within that month before that file actually updates, you'll be able to go in and continue with your order. If it's outside the update period for that specific file, then you're going to want to update your count since those numbers are going to change anyway, and you'd have to go through the order process from there. So that is order saving. I know our team's really excited about it. I hope everybody on the line gets a chance to use this feature too, and that it helps you with your day-to-day. All right, so another feature that we're going to cover today is customer order suppression. So current state, we have the customer order suppression, and in order for everyone to access this, we have this on our main product page. It's under the Data Services Portal section, and here's where you can actually start the process for uploading your customer file suppression. Now, I will tell you that I know when you're working within a count, I'm going to pull up one of my old counts. When you're working with an account and maybe you have some suppressions that you want to work on, you go to your suppression tab. We can suppress orders, we can suppress counts, and here's where you'd actually input that number for the customer order suppression. But what we've done here is we've actually added the ability to do that within the count process now. So you don't have to worry about being on that first main page to do your customer suppression file. You can actually do that here. So you can click on the link there. You're going to drop right back into the workflow that you would typically see for the customer file suppression. You'll select the database that you want to have that file, or databases that you want to have that file available for. And then you're actually going to upload and map your file. So I've got a file here that we're going to upload. We walk through the process of mapping our file. and we submit. Once submitted, you can click here and you're going to return back to your account and all of your information is there. When your file has completed, you'll be able to identify that specific database, add that suppression, and just actually I added all my suppressions, and we'll add them in here. And you can go through your account process. So we hope that this really helps you use that feature a little bit more, since now that it is within the account process. So as soon as that customer file suppression is ready, you can input that into your suppression screen and move through the process. So I've talked about a couple of the new tools that we have on here to really help some users and help you guys use the system a little bit better for ease of use and help your day and make it more efficient use of your time. But the portion that I am very excited to cover with everybody is our mapping. So I'm going to start a new account. We're going to spend the rest of the webinar today working on mapping. So over the years, we've received a lot of feedback on this tool within AccuLeads. And we've been able to incorporate some of the improvements in our first release of this revamped product. So I'm excited to share this with all of you today. Now, our mapping tool allows users a great deal of flexibility in creating spatial images and plotting multiple geography points, and then translating that back into AccuLeads to proceed with the count and order process. So whichever database that you're working with is going to provide you access to this tool. So it doesn't matter if you're in the compact consumer file, or if you're in the resident occupant file, or if you're in one of our hotline files, a new mover, a new homeowner, you're always going to have access to mapping. Now, let's walk through kind of where this is. So mapping is underneath our geography section. So you're going to want to click on mapping. You'll notice that our screen has changed. Previously, we had the mapping embedded within the frame here within AccuLeads. We really wanted to give users a much broader view of the map and more space to work with. So you'll want to click on Launch Map. And you're going to be pulled into our mapping application. So before we get into kind of working with the map tools, I wanted to review some of the navigation on the page. So at the top of the page, you'll see that you can always get your count. So you'll still have access to that. So whatever work that you're doing within the map, you'll be able to get your count in real time and see what your quantity of records available is. You'll also be able to get your estimate. So you'll see how much your list is going to cost based on that geography that's within there. And you'll also see which database that you're in. In case you forgot which one you're working in, we're always going to show you what database that you're within. Now, we have on the left navigation is where we show our map tools. So we're going to walk through these in just a few. So we have our find location, select the zip code. We also can select a carrier route. Then we have some shapes that we can draw. So we can draw a circle or a radius. We can draw a drive time. We can draw polygons. Then we can also identify zip codes and carrier routes. Here we also have added the ability to clear the map. So let's say that you're working on some stuff and that's not really what you need. You want to clear it and start fresh. You can do that within here. Next, we have our map options. And here we'll talk later about the display features that we have available, the map view, how to create a PDF, our help section, and then the back to count. So back to count will just translate everything back into the count and order process back into AccuLeads for you. Now within the actual map workspace, you're going to see that we default to the map tab, and then we have our included shapes, which would be any of the circles, drive times, or polygons that you create, any included zip codes that you put in your count, any carrier routes, and then any specific saved locations that you may have. On all these tabs, you'll have the availability to review, edit, or delete the information that you have within it. Okay, so how about we actually walk through the mapping tools and put a map together? Now, as I mentioned, when we first launched the map, we wanted to make sure that users knew that they could take an action. Some of the feedback that we had received from our previous version of the mapping was that we just landed on the map and people didn't really know what to do or how to start. So we started with our first tool, which is Find Location. You don't have to use that tool. If you want to play around with the map and just zoom into a specific area, you can close that toolbox. You can zoom in further into the map. And as you zoom in, you'll notice that you're going to get access to more of the map tools, depending on how close in you magnify for the area. All right, so let's walk through the tools. So like I said, we typically default to this Find Location. And the Find Location tool is great. Really excited about this. We have the ability here, you can enter in a zip code and go right to that area. We did add the ability to upload zip codes. So you can simply click on Upload, select your file. I've got some zip codes here that we're going to upload. And they are going to be plotted on the map. You'll see the shaded areas. There we go. So here you'll see that we've got a couple of zip codes that we have put on the map, and we can see what those are. We can do the same thing with our carrier routes, so we can upload those from here. We can also save these as locations. So anything that you upload, any carrier route or zip code that you enter, or even an address, you'll be able to save that as a location for you. Now, something new that we added is under the address section. So here you can enter in just one address if you want, and we'll actually go there. We do have advanced options where you can enter in your address, you can save this as a location, and you can draw an actual radius around that one specific address rather than just going specifically to that address, which is on the basic search screen. So depending on how you want to use that, you have the availability. I'm going to go back to the basic search because I'd like to show you the upload of addresses. So first, let me actually clear the map, just so we can get a better view when these upload. So I'm going to upload some addresses. Here's my address upload file. I'm going to draw a circle around each of them. So we do have some specifics about how your file needs to be labeled in order to have your addresses uploaded. You want to make sure that you follow the specifications that we have here. And then you're going to hit upload. Our screen is going to refresh and will show us our radius once it gets plotted. So now that we see where our radius is, I want to zoom in a little bit closer on that. That zoom level was too far out. You can also adjust the zoom level. So if you'll notice, let's go back to Find Location. For our address, our upload, we do have the availability to choose our zoom level so that we can get further in on the map. We have it defaulted to kind of zoom out a little bit further, but you can always zoom in when you're uploading, or you can, of course, just use your scroll bar on your mouse and zoom in closer. And that's going to show two of the radiuses that I uploaded. And when I look at my Shapes tab, we're going to see what they were there. So I had labeled them the names of S10, S21. They were both circles, so radiuses, and they had a distance of 1 mile. Here I can go to zoom into that shape. I can edit that shape, and then I can also delete the shape if I wanted to on this tab. And so again, for any of these tabs, the included zip codes, carrier routes, or save locations, we have the same options there. All right, so that is our Find Location tool. The Select Zip Code tool, let's go through that. It's very similar to Select Carrier Route, so let's click on Select Zip Code. So when we select a zip code, you're going to notice that our boundaries show up. So we've got our boundaries that are going to show for the specific zip code areas, and we just are going to use our hand button, and we're going to click on the zip codes that we want to add. So let me zoom out a little bit, see which ones I want to add. So I'm going to add this zip code, telling me the zip code I selected, and then it's going to highlight that zip code. So we have all of that. And then the same functionality exists within the Select Carrier Route. So now that we've added our zip code, if we want to remove it, we simply would click Remove and click on the zip code that we wish to remove. And it's going to be removed from the view. I'm going to go back to adding it so that we have that on the screen. Excellent. Now that I've added it and I click on my included zip codes, we're going to see that that zip code is on this tab as well. All right. So Select Carrier Route is in the same fashion. Just the difference will be that you're going to see more grid lines on the screen, because obviously carrier routes are smaller, and then you'll just select the route that you want. Let's get into drawing some shapes. I know this is something that our users really enjoy using, so I'm going to clear the map from here. So we have a clean view. All right. So now that I have a clean view, let's draw some shapes. So starting with the draw a circle. So this one's pretty straightforward. You're going to click on a point on the map and just expand out using your mouse to the distance that you want. So I'm going to go about mine. Okay. Once I've got it to the distance that I want, if I want to move it, I can do that. If I want to clear it and start another one, I can do that. If I'm good with how it is, I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this as my circle. Oops. Spelled that wrong, circle 1. And you can save this as a shape, so it would just be the geography within that shape, or the zip codes, which would be all the zip codes touching it, or the carrier routes, which would be all the carrier routes touching it. We're going to hit save. And my shape has been saved. And again, this is going to be on my included shapes tab now for what I've just created. All right, so that's how we draw a circle. Let's go into drawing a drive time. So this is another feature that we offer. So to draw a drive time, we want to specify the name of it. So we're going to name what our drive time is. So I'm going to do drive time 1. I want to do a drive time of, let's say, 3 minutes. I'm going to include a shape. So all of the shapes that we can draw on our mapping, you have the ability to include the geography from just a shape level. So you're going to really have that be more precise. Or you can do all the zip codes or all the carrier routes that would be touching within that shape. So it really depends what level you want to get to for your geography, the precision level, where you'll identify what you want to choose. We default it to that shape because most of our users, and I know for us internally when we use it, we want to be as precise as possible when we're doing our mapping. All right, so I've named my drive time. I've identified the minutes that I want for my drive time. So to now draw the drive time, all I have to do is click on the map for a certain area, and it will give me my drive time in minutes. So I'm going to click here. And that's my 3-minute drive time for that specific area. Okay. The next tool that we have to draw a shape is our draw polygon. And this one, I think all of our users who use mapping probably use this the most. So the polygon feature is awesome because you really can be specific when you have to go along certain highways or certain areas or maybe communities that you're really trying to drill down deep into. And using it's really easy. You're just plotting points on the map and connecting them together. So let's say I want to do my polygon. I want to start here. So I'm going to drop a point. And I want to go here. I'm going to drop my other point. I'm going to go here and drop this point, and then here to Daniels Parkway and drop it. And then I'm going to click, I want to close it. I don't want to do any more points now. So in order to do so, I need to make sure that I click on the initial point that I started on, so that this way it closes. Now we can always remove a point. We can actually add a square if we wanted to, and we can move the whole polygon if we need to as well. So you would just use that feature. Again, if you want to clear it because you want to start over, you can do that too and create a new polygon shape. But if this is the polygon that you want to use, you simply are going to want to click Save. Again, we're going to name this. I'm going to name this Polygon 1. Same options that we spoke about previously, and we're going to hit Save. Our shape is going to save on the map, and you're going to see the highlighted area for the polygon that you've just created. Now, the next two tools that we have available are Identify a Zip Code and Identify a Carrier Route. So these operate in the same fashion, just like Select the Zip Code and Select the Carrier Route do. So let's just look at the Identify a Zip Code. So I'm looking at an area, our borders have now come back on. I want to see what the zip code is, and it's going to tell me this is what that zip code is. It's Fort Myers, so I know exactly what the city for that is. Now, it's not going to add it to your count. It's just really going to let you understand, oh, okay, this is what that area is. I need to know what that zip code is. If you want to add that, then you're going to want to select that zip code. Same goes with our Identify Carrier Route. Okay. Now, you've seen me clear the map a few times, so I think that we're good with how we use the clear map. So now I'd like to jump into the options that we have available here for the mapping. So the first is the map display. So here's another area that we've improved for our users. So you can do borders for our carrier routes, you can do borders for zip codes, you can do borders for counties now, so that's something new that we've added. What I like to do is, for myself, if I want to have a certain color for my carrier route borders or my zip code borders, right now my zip code borders are red. Let's say I want to change this and make it a different color. So let's say I want it to be blue. I've got the blue borders. I got my labels on. We see our zip codes there. And maybe I want to increase the font size. I don't know about everybody on the line. I've turned 40 and I feel like my vision has just gotten worse since then. So I'm going to make that a little bit larger for me so that I can see that a little bit better. So you have the ability to customize here, and that's for your specific use. So once you've set these, it's going to save for you. So the next time that you go in, it's always going to be based on the colors that you want. Right now, we have it so that your carrier routes are in green, your zip codes were in red, as I showed you before, and your county is in this greenish blue. So again, something that you can change. You can edit the font size, the font type, if you wish. You can edit the size that we have defaulted for the actual labels on those. And you can turn them on and off whenever you want. I know when you're working with carrier routes, it gets a bit cluttered. For the purpose of the demo today, I didn't really want to show too many of the carrier routes because it does get kind of cluttered when you start putting labels on, unless you're very, very zoomed into an area. So just something to kind of think about as you guys are using it. But you have the ability to always go into the map display option and change your label setting on or off, as well as the size for those labels and then the colors as well. Okay. Now, the next section is the map view. And this is something that we had in our previous version of mapping. We default to this MapQuest view. We also have a standard view. It looks a little bit different. We don't use that very often internally, but we do find that some users prefer that view. So we have that available still for customers that want to access that. The next option we have is the ability to create a PDF. So once you click on PDF, if this is the map that you want, we have an auto size, so it will auto size to what you have shown here. Or we have different sizes available. So you could do an 8.5 by an 11 inch, or we can flip it and do an 11 by an 8.5 inch, or we can do an even larger map, which would be 11 by 17 inches. So you're just going to want to select which size you would want, and then click on Export. your PDF is going to generate, and then you'll have an actual export of what that map looks like. So from here, you can save it, you can download this to save it to your desktop, include it in a presentation that you're working on, provide it to a client of yours. You can print this, whatever you need to do. You will have that PDF available to you, and you can generate that at any time on any account that you've worked on that's had a map. If you need to go back to generate a PDF, you can just go back into the mapping and generate a PDF from there. The next section under options is the help section. So here we do have our contact us number. So we have our support line on there, but also we have our mapping overview. So this is a video that really is a high-level walkthrough of mapping. We're going to be adding more resources within here. There'll be tutorials, videos for you all to watch so that you can become more well-versed within the tool and using some of the advanced features. And as we add more features to this, we'll be releasing videos to help you walk through that even better so that you can use the tool to the best of your abilities. And the last section within here is back to count. So this one's pretty self-explanatory. This is going to return us back to the AccuLeads process. It's going to show us the shapes that we've created. And then I can move forward from here to get my counts or add in demographics or whatever it is that I need to do to complete my count for this. Now, I can tell you that we are running a promotion through the end of March, so through March 29th, that for all orders that our users place using mapping, they're going to be entered into a drawing to win an Echo show. So just make sure that you enter in the promo code ECHO 2019 on the first page of the order screen, and then you get entered to win. So we're really excited about the new mapping. I know it's been a long time coming. This is our first release of it. We absolutely want to get some additional feedback from all of our clients, not just about the mapping, but about AccuLeads in general, how we can make your user experience better, what else you would like to see on the tool. It's very important to us. So please, please, please share with your account representatives and reach out to us directly, of course. So at this point, that really covers all of the information that I wanted to share with everybody today. Those are the latest enhancements that we've made to the site. So I know we've had a couple more questions that have come in, and I want to make sure that we address them. So one of the questions was, how long do I have to complete a saved order? Okay, so saved orders. The saved orders are going to be available to you throughout the update period of that file. So think about it this way. The consumer files, the info group business file, the resident occupant file, the real property file, all those files get updated on a monthly basis. So let's say you're working in the compact consumer file and the file updated on the 1st of the month, and the file's not going to update again until the 1st of the next month. So you have that entire month that you can complete that saved order. Let's say the month has proceeded, so we're going to now look to order at in the following month. You're going to want to update your count. So we don't want you to order a file that you started on where we know that the data isn't going to be as up to date. So this way you get the freshest information. So you'll just want to update that count and restart that order process. So that's why we've instituted that for the saved order enhancement that we've added. All right, another question that we've had come in about mapping. So let's talk about this one. Will my geography from my count transfer into the map? Yes, that's a great question. So we had that available with our previous version of mapping, and this still applies. So any zip codes or carrier routes that you have done within the count process. So let's say I already started working on a count. I have zip codes that I've inserted, and now I want to go into the mapping. When you launch the mapping, you're going to see those zip codes within your map. So they will automatically transfer within that once you start using it. We've got a couple more questions here about the power search feature. So let's address those. do I need to be logged in to access the Power Search? Yes, actually you do. So if you are not logged into the system, you're not going to see the Power Search feature. You do need to log in to be able to have access to that Power Search piece. And another question that we have about the Power Search is, what does Power Search specifically search on? Okay, well, good question. So the Power Search, it functions the way that our search functions within each database. So it's going to look at the actual demographic name. So if the demographic name is pool owner, and you're searching for pool, it's going to pull that. It's going to look at the description for that demographic. So whatever, the sentence or two that we have that talks about that specific demographic, if that word or those words are within it, then we're going to pull that. And then it's actually going to look at the values that are associated with that demographic too. So if you're doing, let's say, golf, and we know that that's within an interest, but that's actually a value within the interest, so it's not in the select name, it's not in the demographic name, it's not in the demographic description, because interest is a broader category, but it is a value within that, it's going to pull that information as well. So that's really how the Power Search was designed, implemented, and then again, of course, it's searching across all of the databases that we have within AccuLeads. Okay, there is another question that we have that came in. Since this is the year of AccuLeads, what are some of the additional enhancements that will be made? Great, I love that. Yes, it is the year of AccuLeads. I said it earlier on in the webinar, so we are pretty excited. We have some great things that we're going to be rolling into the platform in 2019 and beyond. So I'd like for you to keep an eye out for some new data elements. So we are expanding the compact consumer file with a slew of demographics ranging from donor information, buying activity, lifestyle data, more expanded occupation codes, and some ethnic codes too. There's going to be some personality data. We're going to have a segmentation system. So a lot of information that's going to be available there. So more data, which I'm a data geek, so that gets me really excited. But additionally, we are working on adding in some different levels to the customer file suppression. This has been something that we've been asked for quite some time. Right now, that process, it's looking at that name and address. We've been asked by customers if we can look at a phone number, if there's other pieces that we can look at to be able to suppress on, if we could just do an address only. So we're going to be adding in additional match levels for that. And then also, another big enhancement that's going to be coming later in the year is a revamp to our analytics products. So for those of you on the line who have used our Snapshot product, which is our online modeling profile, here, Snapshot, it's our descriptive profile. So we are looking at updating that in terms of what elements are available within that, the report, how that looks, and potentially adding other databases that we can use for that product. And then the same goes with our AccuModel Response, our online predictive model. We're looking at updating that whole product line, especially what we have here on AccuLeads. So it's going to be a great 2019. You're going to see even more things kind of rolling out into the platform, but those are some three of the highlights that I like to reference for now. So you'll have to talk to your sales reps more. They're going to be contacting you about all the other great things we're going to be doing with AccuLeads. We'll be having more webinars throughout the year. We'll be having some more promotions. Again, we are doing a promotion through the end of March for mapping. We're very excited that we were able to do our first release of updating that tool within AccuLeads. So again, if you guys are using the mapping, that's great. Make sure that when you place your order, you use the ECHO 2019 code, and you'll get entered in to win the ECHO show. So that's really all I had today. I hope that everybody enjoyed going through what we've worked on for AccuLeads to release to you all so far. On behalf of the entire AccuData team, I want to thank you all for attending today. If you have any questions regarding AccuLeads or, like I said earlier, feedback on the tool in general, or if you even want to learn more about any of the other products and services that AccuData offers, just email us at info@accudata.com or call us at 1-800-732-3440. Thank you so much, everyone, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.